I now call the meeting of the Code Enforcement Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Hillsborough County Code Enforcement Board hearing. When addressing the board, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. If you are planning to speak during this hearing, you must sign the speakers list located at the front door for the record. Presentations by the county, respondents, and opposition must be kept to a maximum of 10 minutes each. The board may recess at 12:30 and reconvene at 1:30 to conclude if necessary. The basic process for this hearing is as follows. Your case will be announced. Ms. Meyer will conduct the oath of witness. The staff will present their evidence on your case, and then you'll be allowed to rebut that evidence and explain what has occurred. I will close the hearing, the board will deliberate, make a motion, vote, and then I will announce a decision. All decisions are based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history. The board may ask questions and allow other witness testimony as necessary. If the board issues an order for compliance, it's your responsibility to notify a code enforcement officer on or before the date ordered to demonstrate that the violation has been corrected. Depending on the order, the code enforcement staff may have to later conduct an inspection to see if you've complied. If the staff believes you have not complied, you'll receive a notice in the mail. By law, you have 10 days to contest that notice. Otherwise, it will be considered correct and a lien may be filed against your property. If you have any questions, these rules are outlined by Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Chapter 14, Article 2, Section 14. Any person who decides to appeal a decision of the Code Enforcement Board will need a record of the proceedings. The record is comprised of the testimony and evidence upon which an appeal is based. It is your responsibility to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made. By law, you have 30 days from the day of the order to appeal the board's decision to circuit court. And before we begin, please silence all electronic devices. Roll call, please.
Good morning, Lorenzen.
Present.
Clayton.
Present.
DeRazio.
Present.
Verzilla.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Did you work in?
Thanks. There it is. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
right button.
much better.
Thank you.
Okay. I will take a motion for approval of the minutes for the January 27, 2023 hearing.
So moved. DeRazio.
Thank you, Mr.
Second,
Rossi.
Clayton.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are ready for the oath.
All county staff who will be testifying must take the oath of witness. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. First case.
First case, please.
First case is on page 1 under continued cases. Case number CE 2101-1607. The owner is Lisby Nunez Travieso, 1004 Greenbrier Drive. And this is continued from the June and December hearings of 2022. Good morning.
Good morning. Robert Hoffman,
Name and address, please.
1330 Main Street, Sarasota, Florida,
Thank you.
representing Lisby Nunez Travieso, asking for a continuance. The case, the main case is obviously a case that
One
was.
second, Counselor. We're going to get them to get us up to speed on where we are,
Sure,
have them do their recap, and then we'll be right with you.
sure.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, Officer Kevin Parker, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was initially for roof and parts thereof. There has been no progress they're awaiting trial because the insurance company is giving them a problem. I spoke with the parent company for the lawyer, and they said the trial has been set for May 26th. And that update was given to me this past Wednesday.
Okay, fantastic. Short and sweet. All right, Counselor, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially, my understanding is the case is set for trial on June 5th. They have a pretrial conference on the 24th of May. But they generally, these cases settle before trial. And in the meantime, she is going to take proper precautions to prevent any additional damages. Also, a mold damage claim in small claims court, which is in discovery, and it's moving towards trial. So they're asking for a continuance.
Okay, Counselor, what type of timeline do you think is
Based
fair
on
for you
that,
to
I mean,
come back and talk to us again?
I would hope June, the end of June, if all your hearings are at the end of the month. So
Yeah, our June hearing is June the 30th.
that's fine.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy to entertain a motion or questions from the board.
I make a motion that the case be continued till June 30th hearing.
Okay, motion by Mr. Verzilla to continue to June 30th. Do I have a second?
Thank you very much.
Do we have a second for that motion?
Second, Clayton.
Thank you, Ms. Clayton. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Continuance granted. June 30th hearing.
9 o'clock the next hearing, right?
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. You too. Next case, please.
Turn to page 2, number 3, case number CE 2200-0223. The owner is the estate of Wayman Charles Stewart, 9933 East Fowler Avenue. We have service, and we do have someone virtually to speak.
Good morning.
Ms. Darden, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Okay,
Yes, I
raise your
can.
right hand, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Tammy Stewart Darden, AKA Tammy Connell, 9933 East Fowler Avenue, Sonoma, Florida, 33592.
And you are representing the estate of Charles Stewart, or Wayman Charles Stewart?
Wayman Charles. Yes, that's my father. I am the estate, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Do you recognize the property in the photo?
Yes, ma'am. That's my property.
Thank you.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, Officer Richard Garcia, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This is case number CE 22000223, located at 9933 East Fowler Avenue, Sonoma, Florida 33592. It's zone RSC4 and it's currently vacant. It's owned by the estate of Wayman Charles Stewart and it's represented by Tammy Darden. The property is in foreclosure. It was first inspected on January 12, 2022 by Officer Lance. During the inspection, violations were identified, accumulations, overgrowth, inoperable vehicles, handrails, and electrical facilities. I conducted my final inspection on 3/18 of 2023 and took photographs as indicated. According to Ms. Darden, the property is set for foreclosure sale in July of 2023. As of this last visit, some of the accumulations have been removed. The overgrowth, for the most part, has been taken care of. I complied that, but I would like to have a ruling on that. Also, one of the trucks that was initially there has been removed. There's still remains a dump truck and a boat trailer that are inoperable. The handrails on the mobile home entry have not been replaced, and the electrical is still pending, according to Ms. Darden.
Okay. Communication with the owner?
Yeah. I'm the owner.
I have been in communication with her. She is experiencing medical difficulties. I have no qualms about extending this case as needed, taking in consideration that it is going to foreclosure sale in July.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, Ms. Tammy, what'd you like to add?
I would just like the maximum extension of time. Mr. Garcia will let you know that I have done major work. I'm a cancer patient. I've been going through chemo for 18 months. I do have a contempt case on my mortgage due to my ex-husband, but either way, I've lived there 35 years. I just need extension due to medical. There is grave improvement. I have worked a month there and missed my chemotherapy appointment, and now I'm having to get it late. I do not intend to lose my land, and I do not intend for it to be in anything. I have a power pole coming the first week of April, and I just got my tax papers in the mail, and the other 3 vehicles will be removed as soon as I get the truck to get them to the county, thinking by the end of April. But I do need some time to completely comply with these as the maximum time, just due to my health. We're doing this on our own. And a lot of people threw stuff over and migrated there, and I just need some time.
Okay,
I have made grave improvements. I promise you, I have before and after pictures, and I know Officer Garcia does as well. And just
Understand.
yesterday, all the wood and everything got removed into the shop properly. I just need some time, please.
Officer Garcia, you have a suggestion on time in order to complete this, knowing that the foreclosure is in July?
I would say the maximum amount of time the board would allow, because there's also there's 3 trailers on the property, 3 mobile homes. Since the initial case was created, one of the mobile homes was burnt down, arson or whatever. I'm not sure the exact details of that, but it's still the hull of that remains on the property. That's going to take some time to get out of there. There's another mobile home with a tree that had a tree on the roof. So it's quite an extensive job. So I would, as I said, I would have no qualms with the maximum allowable.
Okay. Questions, comments from the board?
Yes, Mr. Garcia, question is, you said that on our sheet here, it says that it's tenant occupied, but you're saying it's vacant?
Right. Since that was entered into the case, it was shown as there. I think her son was living there, but because of the lack of electrical, we advised that the properties could not be occupied. Supposedly he's living next door now, and the trailers are all unoccupied.
Okay, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Ms. Tammy, can you give us an update on the electrical and whether people are living in the facilities?
No, we're staying at my neighbor Connie Weeks right next door so we can continue to work on our property. Like I said, I will have power by the end of April, and we will occupy it. It's technically vacant because of power. But I
Understand.
do have the pole coming the first week of April, and I'm hoping my electrician is quick.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Mr. Verzello.
I prepare to make a motion that for
Please.
continuance till the July 28th hearing, which at that time she can give an update, but also that the property be not occupied.
What
Your
do you
motion
mean,
is to
not
continue till the July hearing and not occupy the building until
Yes.
July, or until the power is restored?
Until it's in compliance.
Okay. All right, we have a motion for, to continue the case and for it to remain vacant until the case is complied. Do we have a second?
Second, Durazio.
All right, motion and seconded for discussion, which is why I asked it the first time. The young lady says that she's going to have a power pole out in April, and then would like to move back in.
If it's going
To
through
continue.
foreclosure on July 28th, I mean,
Or it won't never make it to foreclosure. Can I
All
speak?
I'm asking for is continuance till they come back and give us a update.
Right, but your continuance runs through July.
Yeah.
And she wants to move back in April when she has power back into the facility.
If that,
Is that the reason why they are not in the building right now is because lack of power?
Right, lack of power, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, based on the schedule of what she's saying, would you consider amending your motion for them to be able to return to the property once power's been established? And allow the same continuance, or do you want to leave your motion as is?
I want to leave it as is because,
Okay.
it's based on the mere fact that, even if she moves back in, we've still got items that are really kind of help.
There's, most of the items are outside issues. They're not dealing with that, the particular mobile home that's habitable, that just is lacking electricity. So there would be no problem with her moving back into that particular trailer once power is restored.
But you've got mold all over the trailers, you got accumulations, inoperable vehicles, handrails, and electrical facilities.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the actual habitability of the trailer itself. That's just algae on the outside there.
I'll have
Okay.
that off today.
Okay, so you want to leave your motion the same, Mr. Brazil?
Yes, I do.
Okay, no problem. So a motion to continue to the July hearing, July 28th, 2023 hearing, and for the property to remain vacant for that entire duration.
Correct.
Do we have a second?
She had already gave a second.
You did second that motion? Okay, motion is seconded. Oh, do you want to withdraw your second? Well, let's go ahead and we'll see how it goes. Motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion fails 3-1. Do we have a second motion?
I'm prepared to make that motion.
Mr. Razio?
I would like to move that we extend the compliance date to the hearing on July 28th, like the previous motion, and that once the power is restored and the officer has an opportunity to confirm that they be able to move in, but that it not occupied as long as there is no electrical service.
Okay, so we have a motion, Mr. Razio, for continuance to the July 28th, 2023 hearing, and for the property to remain vacant until power's been restored and verified by code enforcement staff. Do I have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Motioned and seconded by Ms. Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
All right, motion carries 3-1. All right, Ms. Tammy, so you have a continuance until the July 28th, 2023 hearing. By that time, we'll come back together and determine where you are in the progress that's been made. But you cannot live in the building until the power's been restored. Once it's restored and the power pole is there, just get in touch with Officer Garcia and have him come out and confirm that the power is back in place, and then you can move in, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great weekend.
Take care, sir.
Next case, please.
Page 4, number 7, case number CE 2200-6451. The owner is Paul F. Savage Real Estate LLC and Ernest M. Heffley, 1211 Top Notch Lane. We have service. And Mr. Savage, I believe, is here. Good morning, sir.
Paul F. Savage, 12626 South US Highway 41, Gibsonton.
Thank you. And raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Savage.
Good morning, sir.
In a minute, we're going to have a picture of your property pop up here so you could identify it, but right now we're experiencing some technical difficulty, so. There. Oh. Oh. Come on back. Of course. Okay,
And do you recognize that property, Mr. Savage?
Yes.
Thank you.
excellent. Good morning, officer.
Good morning. I'm Officer Alan Watson with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement, here for case number CE 2200-6451. Property is zoned AS1. It's not homesteaded. It's 1211 Top Notch Lane, Ruskin, Florida 33570. The initial inspection date was 5/24/2022 with 3 violations, and current violations are fence zoning and fences. So these violations were added on the property while an ongoing case was awaiting a hearing. It was observed that there was a fence being built that exceeded 6 feet in height, not built in a workman-like manner, and was not built out of approved fencing materials free from sharp edges. The fence appears to be constructed of recycled roofing materials. The other case that I was there for originally was CE 2100-6445, which is currently in fine run status.
Okay, Mr. Savage, what would you like to tell us?
That's not my fence.
You gave it to somebody else?
That's somebody else. That's my fence.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mr. Savage, that was the, right there
That's just,
at the entrance pole. So when you're looking at the gate, one side's gate's missing, and that was the height of the fence.
okay. All right, Mr. Savage, what would you like to tell us?
First of all, this is new material. And the fence code says that I can have a fence up to 8 foot tall. One of the John Beavers from Hillsborough County, I had to put a ditch in because of the neighbors next door. I'm not finished with the fence. He wanted me to put it off the ground so the water could flow under it. That's exactly what I did.
So you moved the panels up higher so that
I had
water
to put
could
it,
move
yeah,
underneath
those
it.
are 3-foot panels. And those are, I've sold this stuff for 50 years and they've used it for fence. The material is new material. It's not used material.
Officer Watson, is the metal panels an approved fence material in Hillsborough County?
No, sir, they are not.
Okay. Okay, so apparently the material.
He doesn't have any knowledge whether they are or they aren't. I
sir,
mean, you know, he
Mr.
says
Savage.
they are.
Mr. Savage, the officers testified that the materials used for the construction of the fence are not approved materials by Hillsborough County. So
He has not showed me that.
Well,
These
that's why we're
fences
here.
are all
today.
over the
So
place.
that's why we're having the conversation, so that now you know. So how much time do you think you need to reduce the height down to 6 feet and to remove this material and put up the proper material?
Under the Right to Farm Act, I'm allowed to do that.
Under
And the officer told me the other day that Hillsborough County does not recognize the Right to Farm Act. Is that correct?
Well, we can check with our supervisors if you'd like.
Terry
Well-
Converse, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement.
Mr. Converse.
That's not true. The Right to Farm Act is a state statute, so it's something that governs farmers, small farms, large farms. It gives them the right to farm. The statute says that it exempts property owners from certain local ordinances, but those local ordinances must specifically deal with farming, not code violations as related to property maintenance or zoning. So this particular property has a green belt in the center of the property. It's not the full property, and we have a case running on that property for other items that Mr. Savage has claimed fall under the Right to Farm Act, but they do not. Therefore, the fines continue to run. This fence is not in the area of where he's doing this alleged farming, so it's a violation that's outside the Right to Farm Act.
Okay. Okay.
The property appraiser, Kyle, that gave me the Greenbelt application, a lot of this property is wetlands. They marked out a spot. I've got trees all over. I grow bamboo and palm trees. It's all over the property. You either have Greenbelt on the property or you do not have Greenbelt on the property. And I have the Greenbelt exemption.
For a
This is
portion
not
of
the only
property.
place that I grow trees, and I don't have this problem. The only reason I
Mr.
have this
Savage,
problem is,
hold on, I'll stop you right there. We're not dealing with your other properties today and what they are not in violation. The only issue we're dealing with today is this particular parcel with this fence and this fence zoning violation. So how much
the
time do you?
thing that I need to do is stiffen that fence up and screw it to the poles.
What the authors already testified is that the materials are not correct and the height is not correct. So how much time do you think you need in order to return it, either put on correct proof panels by Hillsborough County and reduce the height down to 6 feet?
60 days. 60
days to replace the panels and reduce the height.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have concern with 60
And
days.
I've got one other thing to say is,
Mr. Savage, please. Go ahead.
when he measured that fence is to the bottom of the ditch, not from the other side of the property. The other side of the property, it's 6 foot. The neighbor's property is 6 foot. I was required to build a ditch.
Well, I mean, the good news is that the board is familiar with the other case that's already running, and
Right.
we're aware of the fact that the fill was brought in and that your property is higher. So your property being higher, on top of the fact that it's over 7 feet tall in the fence section that he measured, means that to the adjacent property owner, it's actually even more. So that
No,
doesn't.
it's not,
Yes, it
because
does.
the property owner next door is like this. I had to put a ditch on my side, and I put the poles up next to their fence. And so if you measure from the bottom of the ditch, if I dug a ditch 6 foot deep, the fence, at the top of the fence with the neighbors
Okay.
would be, and the neighbors got a fence that's a wood picket fence that's up off of the ground also, and his fence is over 6 foot tall.
Is that the fence that you're talking about right there?
No, beyond that, it's a picket fence.
Okay. Officer Watson, when you made your measurement for the height of the fence, did you make it from his current elevation up to 7 feet?
I
2
made it
inches?
from the height of that
That's shown
pole,
in
from
that
the
picture
ground-
on that
from the
post?
ground height to the top of the metal being used.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's over and it's the wrong materials. So I understand your request for 60 days. I have a concern for 60 days on replacing fence panels, but it's up to the board to make a motion. So I'll pass it over. Is there anybody that'd like to make a comment or make a motion in regards to this case?
I have a question for the officer. Do you have a problem with 60 days?
No, sir, I do
As
not.
long as he comes in compliance with
That's-
the proper material and height?
That's correct.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Razio.
I move in case number 22006451 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 60 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $500 per day be assessed.
I have a motion for Mr. Razio for 60 days, $500 per day. Do I have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Thank you, Ms. Clayton. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries 3-1, sir. You have 60 days in which to take care of the fence violation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. Have a great weekend. Next case, please.
Page 6, number 10, case number CE 22012186. The owner is Raul R. Medina Ruiz, 4908 Rawls Road. We have service, and Mr. Ruiz is here. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Swear.
And state your name and address, please.
Raul Ruiz.
Your name and address.
Huh?
Name and
Oh,
address.
the address, 4015 Woodacre Lane.
And the rest.
33624.
Okay.
We just bought the house. Sorry.
Is that your property in that picture?
Well, that's the vacant lot, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, will you be testifying as well?
Yeah.
Can you give us your name and address as well, please?
Thank you.
Laura Macias, same address, 4015 Woodacre Lane, 33624.
Excellent, thank you.
She's my wife.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning. Steve Favors, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This in reference case CE 2201-2186. The property is located at 4908 Rawls Road, Tampa, Florida 33624, owned by Ruth Mendez. The property is not in foreclosure. The property was first inspected October the 6th, 2022. During the initial inspection, he was cited for accessory use without the primary use. Instead of writing up everything such as the overgrowth, trailers, and et cetera, he just basically can't have anything on the property, period. Over the course of follow-up inspections, the property was deemed to still be in violation with my final inspection on 3/17/2023. I have been in contact with the owner prior to this hearing date.
And progress has been made? I don't see.
No, sir. There haven't been any progress. Everything
Okay.
is still the same.
So I see, do we have other pictures of
Yes,
this?
sir.
Okay. Can we? Oh, okay, no problem. I was like, I don't see all the things that you listed, so.
The picture there we're looking at is basically a picture showing where I posted the property. Apparently, I guess the code board wasn't able to serve the paper, so it was posted at the property.
Okay. Okay. Well, while they're trying to get that going, Mr. Ruiz, what'd you like to tell us?
Well, first of all, we bought the land, we don't know what we can do or we cannot do in there. The idea behind the lot is we eventually we're gonna build our home, forever home in there. I do kitchen cabinets. My dad, he owns a shop, two shops, granite and kitchen cabinets. So, we do got trailers and stuff like that. We almost have an acre vacant, so I didn't know that we couldn't park the trailers in there. The trailers are gone already. We moved them already.
Okay.
I'm just here to see what.
Well, it sounds like from the testimony, and I guess we'll hopefully see the pictures in a minute, is that you can't have any of that stuff stored on the site. So it sounds like you've already started removing some of the things.
Yeah, I only got one more. It's a gooseneck trailer. All the one in the back's my uncle's. He got a 4 licks and
So he's
stuff
gotta
like
come
that,
get
and,
that, yeah.
he don't have a space on his shop, so he parks it. So I already told him, he got to come and take it, But that's the only one that I have on
Okay.
the property right now.
So after those pieces of equipment are moved, is there anything else on the property? It's
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 just a little bit
completely
of debris which is already gone already. I bought a warehouse, like a 50 by 50 warehouse, like a barn.
Mhm.
And that's the gooseneck right there. I had the warehouse, in pieces because I was gonna put it back there. I didn't know you couldn't even. That's my boat trailer. I already got it out.
Mhm. So you've removed.
See, that's I remove, most of the wood and stuff like that. I still got a few panels that, I still got to take off, for the barn.
It looks like you got a couple of dump loads of.
Yeah,
fill or
I got
something.
it. I was gonna put that there because the property, it has a dish in the middle, and I call you guys, to make the entrance because I couldn't even get in there. So that there is so I can fill up the dish a little bit so I can put the tubes, underneath it.
Understanding the use officer, can he spread that material or does he have to remove it from the site?
He's probably going to have to get with land development because he's going to be altering the land.
Okay.
That's why I haven't even spread it or anything. I just bought the stuff and put it right there. I'm just waiting, because we bought another house and we got another property that, it's been hell, man.
Understand. Okay. So how much time do you think you need to get the rest of the materials and
Awesome. Tell you the
equipment?
truth, not even a month.
Okay. All right, and then obviously you're going to have to get with land development about
We will.
about the fill to determine whether or not you can fill in what you're asking to fill in. So that might take a little time too. So,
And if I may add, he can't have that material just dumped there. I mean, if you look at it, it looks like it's some kind of, I guess, rocks, dirt.
No, it's milling, you know, the stuff they use for the road.
Mhm.
It's the same material.
Okay.
Correct. So he has to get approval first before he can store that material there.
Okay. I wasn't gonna spread it out. I'm just I was trying to build like a little, you know, dirt road all the way back so that, you know, the trailers and everything, they go through the road, not all the woods and stuff like
Gotcha.
that.
And the
That's all.
overgrowth, it needs to be cut.
Right.
Oh, that needs to be cleaned up from an overgrowth standpoint too.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
The trees?
Like on the sides, because it's nothing in there. It's like a vacant. Well, you see, you know, it was woods in there.
Oscar, you want to clarify what the overgrowth is for the?
Yes, sir. Under the statute, it doesn't allow the grass or weeds to be taller than 10 inches within 200 feet of the county right-of-way or any of the property buildings. So you have your next door neighbor as well as the county roadway in front of you, so 200 feet from there. And then you also have residents to the back of you, so basically your entire lot is within 200 feet of the right-of-way or a resident.
And I mean, there's no grass in there. How can I cut? You know,
Weeds, the weeds got to go. You see the weeds that's in there?
Okay. Which I did cut it on that picture. It looks more overgrown than what it is right now. But because I did went over there. You know, I did the whole. It's almost an acre, so I didn't do the whole property. But the main, you know, what you can see, I trim it down a little bit.
Understand. Well, and now you understand the clarification of what you need to get done. So I'm sure the board will give you some time to get that completed and,
okay.
and get your answer.
And I have a few questions. We still don't know. We request some information about the land, what we can do and what we cannot do in there. I don't know. Before I even purchased this land, I talked to one of the neighbors, and he told me I was on zone 3. Is that a zone that I remember? Zone 3, something like that? No.
Okay.
Well, that I can park trailers and everything in there, and now I can't even do that in there. So what's gonna take for me to like use my land? You know, it's
Like obtain information.
You're
as
gonna,
to
well, first of all, you're going to get with land development to talk about what
Okay.
you're talking about spreading out there. And the reason that you're being cited is because you can't have those things before you have a home. So
Oh, that's what
if you
it
go
is.
through the process of getting a building permit and you start to make your residence there, then all these things change. Right now, you can't have it because you don't have.
because I don't have
primary-
anything in
you
the
don't have
property.
primary residence. Which
What about if I want to put like in the meantime, if I want to put like a mobile home for now?
That I don't know. You'd have to get in touch with the officer, and I mean, the folks at code enforcement are really good about telling you what you can and can't have, or at least point you in the right direction. So I'm sure Officer Favors could help you with that process as we move, because right now all we're dealing with is accessory
Great,
use.
thank
So
you.
I have a question. So
Yes, ma'am.
Officer.
Can you step in front of the microphone so my folks downtown can hear you?
So Officer Favors is able to give us some sort of documentation as to what we're entitled to do with the land prior to building a home? Because that's what I would really like to, because I don't want to run into this.
He can't do that, but
again.
the folks downtown, when you go to pull a permit and those kind of things, you'll have a pre-meeting, you'll go through that process, and they can tell you
We
what you,
newbies.
what you can and can't do,
Yeah.
right? The code enforcement is just enforcing the violation.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he would help point you in the right direction, or, tell you what number to call or something like that, so
Okay.
you can follow up with that. But I'd start with downtown and building permits and land development for sure.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen for another. We just bought another house, so
Understand. So you think you need 30 days or so in which to
yeah, 30
clean
will be
this-
enough.
clean this up, and if you don't apply for a permit, obviously you're going to have to remove those
Okay.
those piles of dirt as well. Okay, I'll pass it over.
Oh, so if I do ask for the permit, I'm gonna the piles. I'm not gonna have to remove the pile. Well, it depends on what they say.
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's questions I can't answer today.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's definitely some folks out there that can help you through this
One
process.
question first.
So, okay.
Officer, you have a problem with 30 days?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay,
And with their schedule, I mean, in the beginning, they was communicating with me, and then toward the end, I haven't heard anything from them. I went to the residence that's listed in the property appraiser, and someone said that was just for mailing purpose, but I haven't had any contact with them. But the amount of stuff there and their schedule, I don't think they're gonna get it done in 30 days, to be honest with you.
If we're able to get
If
more
we,
time, it
yeah,
would really
I
be
wasn't trying to,
helpful.
push it, but if you can
Two
give me more
talking
time.
both at the same, you could,
If we were be able to get more time, it would be really helpful because he's doing all this stuff on his own.
Yeah.
And we have multiple properties that we're working on at the same time, so.
If I may, it's not a life safety issue or anything, so if you can grant them 60 days, that'll probably be better for them.
I'd really appreciate that.
We'll see how it goes. Does anybody like to entertain a motion?
I'll entertain a motion.
All right, Ms. Clayton?
I move in case CE 22012-186 that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 60 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $300 a day be assessed.
I have a motion for Ms. Clayton from 60 days, $300 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Durazio.
Thank you, Mr. Razio. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, folks, you have 60 days in which to get that completed. Please stay in touch with the officer through the process. And if you get it done early, just reach out to him. He'll come and inspect it and you can go from there.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck with the building of your home.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great day. Next case, please.
Turn back to page 5. Looks like I missed one.
Uh-oh.
Number 9, case number CE 22012924. The owner is Charles Dixon, Deborah Brazell, and Angela Clark. Location 116 East 143rd Avenue. We have service, and Angela Dixon is online virtually. Good morning, ma'am. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And state your name and address.
Angela Dixon, 116 East 143rd Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33613.
Thank you. Do you recognize the property in the photo there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning. Calvin Allen with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. Here for case CE 22012924. The property is located at 116 East 143rd Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33613. Excuse me. The property is in violation of accumulations and inoperative vehicles. The property is initially inspected October 22nd, 2022, last inspected by myself, March 8th, 2023. The property is not in foreclosure, and I have been in contact with the owner.
Okay. Miss Angela, what would you like to add?
The paperwork says inoperable vehicles. The van in the driveway is operable. However, the tag was stolen off the vehicle. So we're waiting for a new tag and sticker to come in the mail. The white car that's in the right of way has been towed off. It is at the shop. The tree that you see that's overgrown into the backyard I had a work people come out, and it wasn't even our tree. I asked Mr. Calvin several times if he could help find me some people to help, if he knew anybody in the area. He was I don't know anybody. He had family to take care of. I told him, I had my oldest son passed away. My mother had just passed away. I didn't have anybody to help me. I just had double knee replacement surgery. And finally I found a church that came out, and they had a whole bunch of people. The tree wasn't even ours. It fell from the back neighbor's house. They weren't willing to help do any of the work on it either. And all he told me was that he had a family to take care of, and made it seem like just that because my family had passed away, that I didn't have a family anymore, that I was on my own. The driveway where all the dust and everything, all that pollen, that has all been swept up. We have since hired a lawn maintenance people, the same people that came out and worked on that backyard trees. We ended up getting some people to come do the lawn maintenance out of them. They come out once a month and do it. Because right now, because of my knee replacement, I can't do it. And there was, and on the very first one, notice that he left us was some accumulations that were out on the right away, and that also was already taken care of because we had some there was furniture out there that was taken and removed, and that was done like right away.
Okay, Miss
So-
Angela, are you saying that you're in compliance, that everything's been cleaned up,
Yeah.
the tree debris is gone, the tag is coming for the car shortly, and the other car is missing, so everything is done that you've been cited for?
Yeah,
Okay. And how long until the tag shows up for your van?
it should be shortly.
15 days.
Okay. All right, but you have ordered it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, no problem. Questions or comments from the board, or would anybody like to entertain a motion on this case? Don't all jump at once.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Verzilla.
I move in the case of CE 2201-2924, that based on the evidence presented, I find the property in violation of Hillsborough County Code and Ordinance as listed in staff presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and action taken by the violator, I grant 15 days to come in compliance. Compliance not achieved by the time a fine of $200 per day be assessed.
We have a motion for Mr. Verzilla for 15 days, $200 per day. Do I have a second?
Second, Durazio.
Motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries 3-1. Okay, Ms. Angela, that means you have 15 days in which to wait for the tag to come in and put that on your car, and then just stay in touch with the officer. He'll come back out and re-inspect to make sure everything is in compliance, okay?
And then if it's not, it's $200 a day.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank-
I hope you heal well. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next case, please.
Page 6, number 11, case number CE 2201-3363. The owner is Davin Lee Henry and Jennifer Patterson Henry, location 17507 Marsh Road. We have service, and we have someone here in person and another virtual participant for this case. Good morning, sir. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name and address.
David Henry, 17507 Marsh Road, Lutz, Florida, 33558.
Thank you. Do you recognize that property?
Yes.
Okay. I want to go ahead and give the oath to the
Sure.
lady online.
Absolutely.
Ms. Dorian,
Yes,
raise your
ma'am.
right hand, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address.
Leslie Dorian, 17529 Marsh Road, Lutz, Florida, 33558.
Thank you. And are you here representing anyone, or just what's your
No, I'm the main
position in this
complaint.
case?
I'm the main complainant that brought this case to the code violation.
Yes, she's the complaining
Okay.
party.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, officer, again.
Good morning. Steve Favors, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case CE 2201-3363. Location is 17507 Marsh Road, Lukes, Florida 33558, owned by David and Jennifer Henry. The property is not in foreclosure. The property was first inspected on November the 8th, 2022. They were cited during the inspection for improper use of zone, wedding and events not approved for zone. Over the course of inspections, the case have been complied, and we're requesting a remaining compliance or ruling on this remaining compliant ruling, I guess. Have been in contact with the owner. My last inspection was on 3/17/2023. And just a little history on this, the reason why we're asking for a ruling on this, the property is listed in Google as Southern Plantation Oasis. Also, if you run outside the name Southern Plantation Oasis and you just simply put in the address, it also refers back to Southern Plantation Oasis with the current phone number of Miss Jennifer Henry right now. So, but over the course of inspections, as I indicated, this is not the first time we had it. During the course of time from 2023, 2000, I guess, or 2020, I've been in contact with them on numerous occasions about this. And we had verbal conversation about not being able to do it. They was going to go attempt to get some kind of approval. So we have other 3 locations in which complaints came in about the same thing. The last time I contacted Miss Henry, she advised that on October the 29th, 2022, that they had a family at the property having a wedding, and they were not authorized to put out wedding signs indicating that they was having a wedding event at the property. As far as the advertisement, I brought to their attention that if you still Google it as of today, it still comes back as Southern Plantation Oasis with the current phone number. And Ms. Henry advised me that she is not advertising and that someone is advertising in her name and scamming people for money. And she asked me the question, what is she supposed to do if she's not the person listed, which I don't have an answer for.
Okay. Has there been a repeat? Has there been previous violations?
Yes, sir. The latest
Did they
one on
complied
10.
or did they come to?
Yeah, they're complied.
So they all complied before they
Everything
came to
is
the hearing?
complied right now.
Okay. All right. All right, sir, what would you like to add? Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, so the zoning is PD, which is planned development. Pretty much we just run an Airbnb there, and occasionally people have little events. We don't advertise anymore. People came to us wanting to do weddings, and we, with the zone PD, we thought we were allowed to because we have a church next door, we have high schools next door, highways next door. So we're kind of in a commercial agricultural area, and there's other venues similar to it. So we thought we were allowed to. Now we're being told we're not. We don't advertise for weddings. We don't try to plus it, but obviously we gave it a name and labeled it, and now it's all over the internet, and it's really hard to take that stuff off because it's on thousands of different little wedding sites and things like that. I don't know what else to do.
Okay. All right, so, but you understand that you can't have them, and so what they're
Correct.
asking
Yeah,
for is to remain in compliance
we
with
don't
them, so
advertise weddings. We don't do
Not your
weddings.
plan moving forward?
What's that?
That's not your plan moving forward in any capacity? You're
No, I mean, we would love to have the zoning to allow it, but we haven't gone down that step. We're dealing with this now, but
sure.
I mean, we're just, yeah, I mean, vacation rental where families rent it out on the weekends occasionally.
Okay. And then sorry, because your testimony is that you rent it out for Airbnbs?
Exactly. It's a vacation rental.
And how long what durations do you do that?
7-day minimums.
Okay, excellent. Because you said weekend there, so I was gonna.
Long, yeah. I mean,
Long weekends.
Long
That's
weekends,
a 7-day weekend,
Sorry,
right? Is what
yeah.
You're saying? Okay, all right.
As long as they want to stay.
Excellent. Well, as long as they're staying at least 6 nights, then
Yes, sir.
we don't have another issue and you won't come back to see us.
Yeah, we've already crossed that.
All
bridge.
right, no problem. Okay, any questions, comments from the board? or anyone like to entertain what appears to be a remain in compliance order? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Ms. Leslie, I forgot that you were online.
Yes, thank you.
What would you like to add?
These, I'm going to contradict Davin. These are not small gatherings. These are 60 to 100 people. I have on 16 logged in occasions had to call the sheriff's department for noise violations. They have DJs, they have live bands, and you can hear it through the whole area, the neighborhood. It's very disturbing. We're on a very small rural road, and the traffic is increased quite a bit. And it's very disturbing for a small neighborhood that only has 8 houses on it. And it does appear to be agricultural. I am unaware of any other venues in the area besides the churches, the local churches that are available for this type of activity. But, you know, we just appeal to you to please have them stop it and comply with the zoning.
Okay. And I've got your additional material here, so thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, questions, comments, or a motion from the board based on the testimony of both parties?
All right, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Verzilla.
I move in a case of, which is at CE 2201-3363, that based on the evidence presented, I find the property was in violation of Hillsborough County Code and ordinance as presented. Further, I find the property is now in compliance with this code provision in order that it remain in compliance with this code provision.
Okay, we have a motion to remain in compliance for Mr. Versilla. Do we have a second?
Second, Grazio.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Quick question. So
Quick answer.
I'm having a birthday May 31st.
You can only have 3 people and a dog.
Exactly. So when 30 people show up for a hibachi dinner in my backyard, am I going to be called back here?
That's a private event. I
Right,
would
exactly.
say that you need to be respectful of your neighbors.
Right.
I mean, if you're not bringing in a band and you're, dropping the hammer till 3 a.m., then I think,
So bands aren't allowed?
that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, instead of
I just
giving
want
you
to know
my personal
how I
advice, I'll give you what
diversify from me and my friends, or
right
our
now
guests.
you've been given a remain in compliance order, which
Okay.
means you can't do it anymore. And if you do it, it's going to shorten the span. We're not going through the noticing and all those kind of things. They're just going to go straight from 0 to 100 on it. That's what remain in compliance means.
Okay.
So I cannot give you any determination on the size of your birthday party or how big your band is. I was not allowed to do that. What I am telling you is I would be respectful of your neighbors.
I tried to be.
Because your neighbors are going to be listening.
Of course.
And I don't want to see you back here again.
Yeah.
So that's what the remaining compliance is, basically. Just
All right.
stay on the straight and narrow, and if you go through the zoning process to try to get that done so that you can use it. Looks like a beautiful piece of property. If
Thank
that's
you.
what you want to do in that direction, just go about it the right way, and or maybe ask Miss Leslie to come over if you've got the right type of music. I don't know, but either way,
we've tried. She
Either
doesn't
way.
want to. She doesn't want to party with us.
either way.
I have
remaining
never,
compliance moving forward.
I have never gotten an invitation, but I have invited them to come to my house to see what
there you
their
go.
music does to my house.
Okay, all right. Well, I feel like for a second there, I thought I was making a connection, but I don't think that's the case. So
Good try.
what I would say is, please, sir, remain in compliance moving forward.
All right.
And look forward to not seeing.
June 1st. You want steak and shrimp or chicken and shrimp?
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you, Miss Leslie, for coming online. I appreciate your testimony.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend. Next case, please.
Page 8, number 14, case number CE 22007026. The owner is Diana K. Johnson, 3506 Osprey Cove Drive. We have service, and Ms. Johnson is virtual, and we also have another party in person. Ms. Johnson, raise your right hand, please. Do you Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your name and address, please.
Diana Johnson, 3506 Osprey Cove Drive, Riverview, Florida.
Okay, is that your property in the photo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, officer.
Is Luis Garcia in the audience? I've got that written down.
That's for the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I have it on. My
Think we
apologies.
all-
That's another case.
Another case? Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, so we have Ms. Johnson. Okay. Good morning, officer.
Good morning, Officer Kevin Parker, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was started on June 7th of 2022. There have been 7 site visits. We never made contact with the property owner, and there are accumulations in the front and backyard and in front of the garage.
Okay. And no communication
No
since
communication.
June. Okay. All right. Ms. Johnson, what would you like to add?
I was told in November 22 by code enforcement via email that I was found in compliance, and I had literally done nothing else to the property since then because I'm recovering from a back injury. As a matter of fact, I'm dealing with workman's comp and settlement through Hillsborough County. I was found in compliance in November of 2022, and I literally did nothing. The picture that is shown right there was some things that I had literally brought, because I started working on it after I got this notice that was taped to my door. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I thought everything that I had done before kept me in compliance. Those pictures are literally from stuff that I was about to put into the garage. So I mean, that stuff was sitting out there for a few hours that day only.
Oh, okay. So the things that are shown in the picture, Ms. Johnson, have
around.
been cleaned up and moved?
Yeah, the front of the house has had literally nothing in that area until this week when I'm trying to do whatever it is that they're expecting me to do. I don't know.
That always,
you know, I mean,
no, Ms. Johnson, I totally understand. That always happens. The one day you leave things outside, somebody comes by and takes a
no, it's
picture, but
every
you're
day.
saying that.
This week I have
But
had
what you're-
a few things. So you know what I do? I do it like late at night. So like nobody can like be in my business. But
Sneaky.
that
No, I
was
understand.
the only stuff I had literally, everything that was there was stuff that was brought from my school, which my injury was at the school. Everything was from 2 different, which I shouldn't have even been moving it, 2 different greenhouses. And it all is pertaining to gardening stuff. And I was going to put up a small greenhouse, and I'm just not even going to deal with it. I'm actually going to sell my property and leave because I have nasty neighbors who constantly call. But I have, in this past week, the things that I had thought might still be an issue, everything is done. I have all that wood was for, or most of the wood, because I mean, actually all of it, but I haven't created all of them, was for raised garden beds.
Okay, no problem. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So the things that are shown in the pictures, you've taken care of, and you're in. Miss Johnson, give me,
yeah.
Miss Johnson, give me 1 second. Okay.
Yes.
So your testimony is that everything that's shown in these pictures has been cleaned up, put in the garage, whatever, and that you're in compliance, correct?
Yes, that day, as a matter of fact. I mean, literally that stuff was just stuff I was bringing that I wasn't going to be using right now, you know, and that I was about to put into the garage.
Miss Johnson, that's okay. That's all I was asking. If you're in compliance, then I'll pass it on to the board and we'll make a ruling with a short date, and we'll have the officer come back out and re-inspect, and then from there, you'll be in compliance and the case will be closed, okay?
Okay, because I was told in November, like I said, that I was in compliance. I have that in writing and
I understand, Ms. Johnson. I don't know anything about November. I don't have any information that shows that there was a case from November. All we're dealing with is what's in play today, and we have pictures from just this past week, but
Well,
you've
it's from the
testified that
same
all that's
one
been,
because yeah. Well, the
but you
only thing
testified
that
that that's,
is noted on here is from the original issue. And so there has not been any additional, anything else. There's nothing else in the notes here. So I don't have any, I wasn't even sure. This was taped to my door and it actually had fallen on
Ms.
the
Johnson,
ground.
Ms.
And
Johnson,
only half of the piece
Ms.
was
Johnson,
left.
please.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm just
understand.
explaining.
I was confirming your testimony. Your testimony is that everything has been cleaned up and you are in compliance, correct? Just a yes or a no?
Yeah. Yes.
Terrific. Okay. I will pass it on to the board. We'll move forward with the motion.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
All right. Ms. Clayton, please.
I
I
move in
prefer the pictures.
case CE 22007026 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 7 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 a day be assessed.
Okay. We have a motion for
Can I
Ms.
ask a
Clayton for
question?
7 days, $250 per day. Do I have a second?
Second,
I
Durazio.
submitted
Motion and
photos.
seconded by Mr. Razio. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ms. Johnson, so the board has moved and you have 7 days, but you said it's already in compliance. So in 7 days, the officer will come back out. Ms. Johnson, Ms. Johnson, in 7 days, the
Okay,
officer will
okay.
come back out and inspect. And if everything's cleaned up, then the case has been resolved. Otherwise, if there's still materials out there, it'll be a fine of $250 per day. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Next case, please.
You too.
Page 9, number 16, CE 2200-4762. The owner is Brian Caffey, 6327 Frost Drive. We have service. Mr. Caffey is here. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And state your name and address.
Brian Caffey, 6327 Frost Drive, Tampa, Florida, 33625.
Thank you. Is that your property in the photo?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning. My name is Code Officer Hernandez, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This particular property was a complaint-based inspection. On 4/19/2022, I passed by the property at which address is 6327 Frost Drive. The property is owner occupied, not in foreclosure, and it's zoned RSC 6. The property at the time of inspection was found to have 2 pods and an inoperable vehicle, was a picture showing. I think in the early stages, did speak by phone, gave an explanation of what's allowed when it comes to the pods. I know how many times per year and times in between they can be utilized on your property. It is the right size. It's just that no permits were found to have been pulled at the time. And throughout the inspections, I did not find any permits that would allow the pods to be there.
How long is the pod allowed to be without a permit?
It's a 7-day stay. Whether it's a permit or not won't be the issue at that point. Then you have to have a 15-day in between, and you can only do that about 6 times a year.
Okay.
Per calendar year.
Okay.
And the size is correct. And the only problem was no permits were found, and it's been ongoing. And on my last inspection date, I only saw 1 left. But initially there was 2, and it's been ongoing.
Okay.
And that's where we're at right now.
Okay. Mr. Caffey, what would you like to add?
The second pod is scheduled to be removed on the 29th. I've already put in the request, but the renter was not able to come until that date.
Okay. So you've got somebody coming in a couple of weeks to pick up the other one. How about the inoperable vehicle?
Well, the car was moved back to the back and it wasn't visible until Hurricane Ian decided to damage the fence section there, which I have patched. What I want to do with that one is to, until I can get the garage situation resolved, put one of the properties, the tent style thing to create an enclosure in the back to protect it while it's there.
Okay.
That would be my plan for that in the interim until I can get it fully into the garage.
Gotcha. I've always wanted to ask this question anyway, so I'm going to ask the officer how that temp garage / can he just put a cover over the vehicle because it's a classic, and I'm assuming it's something that he's rebuilding or repairing. And
Are you calling it a hobby vehicle?
I think
Oh,
that
I'm
would
about to
be-
say, no, I'm just wondering, because I didn't get the first part of the question. That's why I asked that.
I think that would be an accurate description, project or hobby vehicle. May I?
You can share that if you'd like to, but then we have to keep your iPad.
Let me,
I'm just letting you know. So
if what I'm
one of
looking.
these days somebody's going to
if
say
what
yes,
I'm
and I'm
looking-
going to get one. But
I'm sorry, if what I'm looking at, it's what you're stating, that would be okay. As long as you have your setbacks. It's 3 walls and a roof.
3 walls and a roof, right? Okay.
But you meet your setbacks with the accessory of at least 3 feet away from your property line.
3 feet from the property line, fence line.
On your side property line. If you're gonna keep it where it's at now, you gotta move it over.
Well, shit, I'm sure I got more than 3 feet.
No,
there,
but currently, if you're gonna add that to it, you need to
You
have
might
at
not
least
have
a minimum 3
from
feet.
3 feet from the side of his enclosure.
If he keeps it
3
in
feet
that
from the
location,
enclosure.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Excellent. That answers that question.
Okay.
So that being said, how much time do you think you need to, obviously you've got a couple weeks on the other container. How much time to?
Well, no, I
make
mean,
your-
the container is going to be gone in less than a week. It's empty. It's just waiting for them to pick it up.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're scheduled to get it on the 29th of this month unless they can get earlier.
Gotcha. How about your temporary enclosure for your class?
Because the pieces have to be ordered, if I can get 30 days, that shouldn't be a problem
Okay.
for me.
Any concerns with 30 days to complete this process? If he's picking, we could also ask that the
As
the
long
container
as.
gets picked up in 7 days. We could do a
Yeah,
two-part motion. if that-
the pod was more of the concern.
Sure.
That would be fine.
Okay. So we can look at a two-part motion possibly. All right. Makes sense. I'll pass over the board for comments or questions.
Thank you.
Or a motion.
How much time do you think you need?
Well, my concern is with supply chain issues, the car cover structure will have to be ordered, and I don't know what the delivery time for that would be. That's why I'm asking for 30, just because of how long it might take to get the materials in.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Please, Mr.
I move in case number CE 22004762 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 30 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $200 per day be assessed.
We have a motion from Ms. Razio for 30 days, $200 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Motion and seconded. For purposes of discussion, Mr. Razio, would you consider revising your motion? I think, if I understood correctly, the testimony from code enforcement staff was the main concern here is the removal of the container out front. And the property owner, the violator's already stated that within 7 days, they're coming to pick that up. Would you consider a two-part motion to 7 days at $200 per day for the storage unit and 30 days, $200 per day for the inoperable vehicle?
I think that's a fabulous idea.
Is your microphone on?
No.
Do you still think it's a fabulous idea?
That was private. No.
Oh, okay. You're okay with that modification?
Yes, I am.
All right, so we have a revised motion from Mr. Razio for 7 days, $200 per day on the portable, on the portable temp storage units and 30 days, $200 per day on the inoperable vehicle. Do I have a second for that revised motion?
Second, Clayton.
Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You
Do
have 7
I
days.
need to communicate with
Please.
code enforcement in regards to letting them know that it's done, or are they just going to automatically come out and check?
We love communication. So once that's removed within 7 days, if it's done sooner than that, just stay in touch with the officer. He'll come back out, inspect that, and then do the same thing for the 30 days. Otherwise, if you don't call, he's going to show up in 7 days and
Okay,
check
I
it
do
from
see a number. I just wanted to make sure I had a phone number. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Next case. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's take a 10-minute recess real quick for bathroom break, and we'll be right back. All right? 10 minutes.
I
see it.
I know I got one, Lily. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I do it. No, I checked this morning. Okay, sounds like progress. We also have yeah. Yeah, exactly. As soon as you want to try to create a registration process. Stop the next subdivision. I know, and that's the thing, it's like, I made all these. So, and I really just wanted to make these changes and put, or get John Speaker in the factory. I told her I could It's the first
The proof shoot almost by Monday.
What he called me was there, it's referred to 20 years. Yeah, I know. Because we're not in the high risk account. I was like in New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, I was in the high risk. I mentioned that I get New Hampshire is back together. I started oh, maybe that was good. Thank you very much. I finally got it. I wonder all the time. Oh, yeah. Mr. Rogers, I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you.
Okay, we are back in session. Next case, please.
Turn back to page 8, number 15, case number CE 2300-1914. The owner is Pacifica Bayou LLC. Location 10323 Zachary Circle, apartment 199. And we have service. And we have Mr. Garcia here. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address.
Luis Garcia, 4813 Old Village Way, Altamar, Florida.
And you're here representing?
Well, I'm the supervisor for the property, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Officer?
Good morning, Officer Kevin Parker, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was started on February 20th, 2023, and combo noticed on March 9th. The property was cited for interior surfaces, where you can see the damage to the paint, and there's also organic growth on the walls. In the water heater closet, the water heater is not functioning properly. They do not have hot water in the apartment. The complainant said they haven't had hot water since February 3rd. There was damage to the floors and walls from a flood that occurred from when they tried to repair the water heater. And there's organic growth, nuisance conditions of odors due to the smell of mildew and stuff in the property as well.
Communication?
I'm at that property at least 3 times a week, so there has been communication.
Okay. All right. Mr. Garcia, what would you like to add?
Everything was compliant. I got it done yesterday. The painters, the water heater, the wall. We're doing new floors. Everything went compliant, so we're ready. So we can go back and inspect.
Did you take care of the leak or whatever issue started?
Yeah, it was a
there?
third floor when the resident upstairs moved out. He just broke the pipe from the washer and dryer. Oh no, that was the case. It was the same pipe in the water heater area from the third floor. Yes, it broke out, and that was the issue in there.
Mess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but everything's in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so we can give a short term to come back out and inspect?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay,
Excellent. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Rosillo.
I move in the case of CE 23001914 that based on the evidence presented to find a property in violation of Hillsborough County Code and Ordinance as listed in staff presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the action taken by the violator, violation history, I grant 7 days to come in compliance. Compliance not achieved, but at time a fine of $200 per day be assessed.
What a motion for Mr. Rosillo for 7 days, $200 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Within 7 days, officer will come back out and inspect, and we'll go from there.
I think I got one more case.
You're gonna hang around.
I know. Huh?
All right. Okay. Don't sit down. Next case involving Mr. Garcia, please. Page 11, number 21.
No.
Okay, page 11, number 21, case number, is that
No,
correct? That's
doesn't
not
sound
correct. Does he have 2 cases?
yes, 16.
Try this.
That looks better.
I like all these.
Oh, okay. Page 16, number 34, CE 2300-2630, Pacifica Bayou LLC. And this is 10322 Zachary Circle, apartment 185. We have service. And we have, state your name and address. You're still under oath.
Okay. Luis Garcia, 4813 Old Village Way, Altamar, Florida.
Thank you.
Do you recognize that picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Officer?
Good morning, Officer Kevin Parker, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was started on March 6th of 2023 and combo noticed on March 9th. It was cited for interior surfaces for organic growth in multiple rooms. The microwave was malfunctioning and the stove was also malfunctioning. Also infestation of an interior space. There's gnats throughout the apartment. And that was it. The complainant stated that they tried to service the apartment. They don't know where the gnats are coming from. And there are multiple apartments at this apartment complex that has the same problem, and they're not being able to fix it.
Okay.
Okay, so I taken care of all the stuff in there. The only thing I have for the warranty was the stove and the microwave. So I searched the vendor, so he just sent me the rough to taking care of it because it's still on warranty, so I cannot, touch it. So I got a schedule in that one. Just I need to do for the stove and the microwave is a schedule for the outside contractor. So I just maybe require 30 days, so just wait for the time to come to check that stove.
Just for the cooking equipment only?
Yeah, and
All the other issues-
because microwave, I ordered a new one, so I just waiting for get there. But the stove is just still in warranty. So I
Okay,
just
but all
waiting.
the other issues have complied?
Yes, sir. And I
Okay.
talked to the resident yesterday too about the bug issue, and she said they're getting better. We added to pest control book for the next 2 weeks, so it should be better. Yeah, there.
Okay. All right. Questions, comments from the board?
Just so I understand, all but the cooking equipment, which would be the oven, can be complied.
It's a big burner. Other one work. Just when you try to put in low, is a gas, so it go to low, but it still sound click, 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 click. When you have a gas stove, that's what it do. So that's noisy. So I just request a warranty to just check it out while it's doing that.
So how long do you, so the microwave is working?
Microwave we ordered, yesterday I went there and I purchased the order for the microwave, so that should be a few days just to arrive it. And the stove, that's a warranty. So I had to wait from the rep tell me and contact to let me know what day exactly is coming. So it can be, sometime it can be next week or take 8 days, 7 days. I never know. Just he said in the email, okay, I'll be there this day. So that's the day we're waiting for.
And the infestation and the interior surfaces are taken?
Everything was better in there, yeah.
Everything except the oven and the microwave?
Just exactly, just the burner, yes.
And how long do you need?
Microwave we order already, so just take like maybe 3 or 4 days. Today Friday, so it should be here for Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And the stove, like I say, I just waiting for email. Let me know what day is coming to do it.
So the stove within?
When you take like that, it's maybe 12 to 13 days because it's coming to outside. That's GE company. So that's what I'm saying. I never know how close it's going to be for that.
Is the apartment occupied?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd be happy for you to make a motion.
Okay. Okay, if I can get my microphone turned on. I move in case number 23002630. Based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history, I grant 14 days on item R11.5.1E. I grant 30 days on item R11.3.7 and 7 days on item R11.8.2 and R11.8.4. And if any of those are not complied, then there's a $300 per day fine.
All right, we have a motion for Mr. Razio for 7 days, $300 per day on 11.8.2 infestation and R11.8.4 interior services. The 14-day, $300 per day on the microwave oven, R11.5.1E, and 30 days on the item R11.3.7 cooking equipment. Do I have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Motioned and seconded. Discussion? Not seeing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
So three-parter. So you've got 7 days to come out and we'll check the services and the infestation, and then 14 days to get that microwave installed that you're already working on, and 30 days for the cooking equipment.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask you a question about case quick? just I want to know if I had to speak with a supervisor or something. I have an apartment, the code enforcement, call you guys. We went and do all the stuff in there. The gentleman here had to go back and just inspect it. We have it done. We have it done last month. He cannot have access to the apartment. That's apartment 2. We call in the resident. We try to contact the resident. He cannot go back in there. And now I've been fined for $32,000. And the resident not even still not calling, not answering email. And the day keep passing. And if there's going to be 15 days more, I'm going to be in $40,000 just because the resident is not doing his part. We fix everything. He here to inspect that it's done, but he never home, never answer email, never calling. We don't have a contact. So what we can do in this case, because if not, I'm going to get, well, see, the guy's not here, and out of the state or something, my bill is going to keep going high. So is there some way that we can just address this, or how we do this?
Typically, I would push you off to the group and have them take it offline, but I'll ask one of the supervisors to answer that briefly.
Okay.
Just because you're not a repeat violator, but you have many cases that come before us. So I want to make sure that you clearly understand how the process works, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Terry Converse, Code Enforcement. So our hands are tied because we can't go in without the resident or the tenant's permission. But this would be something I think you should direct back to your legal counsel for the complex to let them deal with it. Because there's probably some issues that, or some documents that they could send them to force them to do this, but we cannot. So it would have to be up to your complex to get consent to get into that property. We can't go in there without their consent.
Okay. Yeah, because we tried to email too, calling, and I want to answer. We have some issue next door apartment, and we call him to get inside. He is screaming, he don't want nobody inside, but he never showed us to the apartment. And he said, I'll be there passing 7-6. So it's out of work hours. So, it's kind of hard deal with this guy.
Don't you have?
Excellent. All right, well, I would get with your folks and work through the lease that they signed and see if you can
All right,
apply
thank
some
you.
additional pressure.
Appreciate it, guys. Have
Absolutely.
a nice weekend.
You too. Thank you, sir. Next case, please.
Page 17, number 35, under contest, CE 2200-5627. The owner is Rafael Augusto Rondon and Jessica Rondon, 18430 Wayne Road. And again, this is a contest of the inspector's finding of noncompliance. And Mr. Rondon is online virtually. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And state your name and address, please.
Rafael Rondon, 18430 Wayne Road, Odessa, Florida.
Thank you. The other gentleman, are you here for this case as well?
He's my attorney.
No.
Yes, this is Attorney Alberto Leal. I represent Mr. Rondon in this matter.
He says legal counsel.
Oh, you're the legal counsel for Mr. Rondon.
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
Would you state your name and address for the record?
Questions on his behalf. Yes, Attorney Alberto Leal, and you said address as well?
Yes.
8927 Hypaluxo Road. Well, actually, let me coverage counsel for the attorney of record, who's Antonio Hernandez. So let me.
I was going to say, you might want to provide a work address.
Let me just provide his. 2525 Ponce de Leon Boulevard, Coral Gables, Florida, 33134. If I may start with a brief statement to the board, if permissible.
No, sir, you may not. But do you gentlemen recognize that property?
Yes.
Thank you. Officer?
Steve Favors, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. Case number CE 22005627. Property located at 18430 Wayne Road, Odessa, Florida, 33556, owned by Raphael and Jessica Rondon. The property is not in foreclosure and was first inspected on May the 5th, 2022. During the time of inspection, the violation was accessory use without a primary use. I have been in contact with the owner in the beginning, but haven't had recent contact with him. Conducted my last inspection on March the 17th, 2023, with the violation still remaining. Just for a note for the board, they did obtain a demolition completion certificate on March the 1st, 2022. So it's been over a year since they demolished the home that was on the property. And since then, it's been in the same condition of having a utility building on site and et cetera. At one point, they had cars, but as it stands right now, they still have a boat trailer, utility trailer, a pod on the property.
And the accessory structure.
Yes,
And that means that they are still not in compliance.
they're still not in compliance. And
And
like
the
I said, it's
initial-
been over a year since they demolished the house.
Right. And so we had initial board order on 11/8/2022
Yes,
for 30 days.
correct.
Okay. And then you inspected on what date?
My last inspection this time, or after the board hearing, I went out after the 30 days,
Okay.
and they was in violation, which generated the run fines.
Okay.
And on this particular date, my last inspection was on the 17th
Okay.
of March, 2023.
All right. So you initially inspected after the 30 days and then you've re-inspected on 3/17.
Yes, sir. Once it came back up again for hearing.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, Counselor, your turn. What would you like to add?
Yes, just I'll be very brief and thank you for the opportunity to speak to the board this morning. So my client, Mr. Rondon, was unfortunately a victim of a very difficult accident. Essentially what had happened was the structure that was being used as the primary home structure on the property had burnt down through no fault of his own. After that, there was a dispute with the insurance company as to how to initiate those proceeds, given that there essentially was not a home. As you see by the photos, there is no home on the structure. So once the insurance proceeds cleared, my client went ahead, got himself another house. He's living elsewhere now, and he is in the process of moving these things over little by little. But the issue that he's having is the current home that he's in has an HOA, which prohibits just how much he can store on the property. So he's currently in the process of finding alternative avenues to store these matters. But as the code enforcement officer just testified, some of this stuff has been moved out already. It's not as cluttered as it used to be. So he's in the process of doing it. There's just been a lot of undue delay through no fault of his own in terms of moving on from this accident in which the house that was on this property was burnt down, and then subsequent the insurance proceeds and clearing, and now him having to find an alternative site to store some of his items that are left over that he can't put in the HOA neighborhood that he currently lives in.
Thank
so
you,
at this
Counselor.
time-
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say at this time, I was going to open it up to Mr. Rondon to see if there was anything else he wanted to add, if there was any
Well,
other.
before you do that, real quick, I just want to advise you that what we're dealing with here is a contest. So the only thing that we can adjudicate at this point is whether or not this property was in compliance or not in compliance at the end of 30 days. That motion has already taken place. We have testimony from the code officer saying that he went out after the 30 days and it was still not in compliance. All these items that are shown here on this picture, I understand that your client is working towards it, but these are all things that could be moved. And I understand the issue with the HOA and all that kind of stuff. We can't hear any of that testimony, unfortunately. Our issue here is just to confirm whether or not it was in or was not in compliance at the time it was initially inspected after the original board order of 11/8/2022. And I don't, it looks, I mean, I assume by your testimony, you would agree that it is not in
Yeah, I would like to
compliance
add
as of
something, if I may.
1/5/2023.
Right. Well, I don't think it's an issue. I think mainly this boils down to an issue of intent. And I don't think Mr. Rondon had intended to violate any sort of municipal code, certainly not after his house burnt down and he had to wait for these insurance proceeds to clear. So that being said, I understand the board's position, but there sort of are some extenuating circumstances here that have led us to this point and essentially have handicapped Mr. Rondon, if you will, in terms of getting things off of this property and into a different site. So I certainly understand the motion. I understand the board's position, but I do think a little grace should be given to Mr. Rondon and a bit of an exception should be made given the extenuating circumstances that we're dealing with here. It's not every day that someone's house burns down.
I do understand. Unfortunately, I think our position here is quite limited, but I'll bring our counsel on board to ask that very question and see if that's something. I don't believe it is, but we can verify that for you since you have counsel, and we'll make sure legally we're in the right position and speaking the right language. So I'm not sure who's on board with us this morning. I'm sorry. Oh, Miss Murphy.
Hey,
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are
So
you?
I'm good. It's a contest
Great.
question, huh?
Yes, ma'am. So the issue is do we have the right to make modifications to this ruling and or subsequent penalties, or are we bound to just approve or deny the contest?
I think in the past, what the board has done with the contest, you have to deny or uphold, I guess, either two. And I think at some point, is there a modification of the fines or the compliance window? Is that what he's seeking?
There are fines currently running, correct?
Okay, so I think in the past, the board has treated some of those as, and remember in the old days, we used to do they would come for like a modification of the fines or to extend the compliance window. So it's like two separate actions.
So that would be
What was it
after
called,
the
Sonia?
property comes into compliance.
It would be, I think it would be before. What was it called, signing before before they what's it called, like you would freeze the fines and you can extend the compliance window? Am I the only one that recalls that?
No, I think we have done that. I believe so.
Yes, yes, yes. You would give them more time to comply and you can freeze the fines. That used to be an action in the past.
Okay, but that would be a condition after denying the contest?
That is correct, yes. They're two separate actions.
Okay, all right. So I'll pass over the board for questions or comments. Our counsel is advised that we do have the ability to modify fines if we so choose, or but either way, we have to approve or deny the contest.
My motion would be to deny the claim.
Okay,
I have a question.
sure.
In some of the paperwork that we have, it says that there has been a building permit applied. Well, I guess I'm asking, has there been a building permit applied for yet?
Is that question for me or?
It's for whoever can
You
answer
or
it.
your counsel,
Okay.
yes.
Well, yes, there's a permit applied for and it's active.
Is there a building permit for this? Is there a building permit?
So you have a permit to rebuild?
Yeah, since 2021.
What? You have a building permit from 2021?
Yes, sir.
Your fire or the building was demolished in March of 2022.
Correct.
So
the house was burned in 2021.
Okay. Okay. Officer, is there something you'd like to add?
Yes, the house did burn in 2021. He did apply for a demolition permit, which he
No,
was
sir, there is a construction
granted in
permit on it.
2021 for the demolition.
Okay.
When I mentioned in March the 1st, 2022, that's when it was completed and they closed the demolition in 2022.
I see.
But with Hillsborough County website, unfortunate, I didn't have nothing to do. And I was looking on the website, he have applied for a permit to build. But that was back in 2021, and as of the status right now, and I contacted Development Service, they're in what they consider awaiting client reply. So he probably has about a good 10 or 13 requests from Development Service that he have not met. So as of this moment right now, he do not have authorization to build.
Understand. Yep, incomplete application. Okay. Okay. Would anybody, I saw a note at the top of the screen that there's another gentleman online here to
Yeah,
speak.
yes,
on
that's my client's contractor. He could just provide some brief context if the board would permit.
Briefly, we'll have to swear him in, so we're going to need him on the screen.
Mr. Nunez, feel free to turn your camera on.
Hello. Hello, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your name and address.
My name is Juan Nunez. My address is 3429 West Spruce Street, Tampa, Florida, 33607.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, is there something you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to add on to the last comments. There is a building permit when the gentleman referred to waiting client reply. Currently what's being worked on, this is a very large estate for the Rondon family. It's over roughly 15,000 square feet or so. And the family is currently working with the architect and the engineers to fix the comments from the Hillsborough County. And that has been in the process for some months now. They have gone through 2 revisions because the home, as I stated before, is a very large home. So they've changed architects various times. As of the last submittal to the county, the submittal came back with some revisions, as it is normal from the county to give remarks on the plans, and their engineers and the architects that the Rondon family is working with, they're working on those revisions to submit back to Hillsborough County.
Okay, but as of this moment, there is not an active building permit for this location.
That is correct.
Okay. I guess, gentlemen, the question that keeps popping in my head, and I'm just going to ask it, why can't you just remove the items that are on the parcel so that this parcel is in compliance until such time that you get back out here to do what you need to do?
Well, the issue here is Mr. Rondon doesn't necessarily have an alternate site, so to speak, and where to store these issues at this time. He's in the process of getting one, but given the fact, the chronological events of what transpired, the house burning down, then the insurance proceeds taking a while for it to clear. After that, finally moving into a neighborhood where there's an HOA that restricts how much he can store on his property. He's having to move things around to find alternative sites to store some of his stuff. And some of the stuff has already been cleared out. It's just a matter of securing an additional site for where the rest of these items can be stored. And he's in the process of doing that. It's just, again, given the undue delay, which was none of his fault, the burning down of the house, the subsequent insurance proceeds being cleared, which took an unreasonable period of time, as I'm sure the board can imagine. And now living in a neighborhood where there's HOA restrictions, it has sort of complicated these matters for Mr. Rondon in terms of where he can store these matters. So he's in the process of doing that. It's just taking a little bit of time.
Understand. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to the board and see if we can come up with a motion here. Motion or you want to restate it since we had some additional comments? I'm sorry, Mr. Virzilla.
I still make a motion that it's denied.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Virzilla to deny the contest. Do we have a second?
Second, Durazio.
Motioned and seconded by Mr. Razio. Any discussion? Not seeing any. Motion to deny the contest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, gentlemen, The contest has been denied. I would suggest that you do all that you can to get that material off of that property so that you can be in compliance, and then work with code enforcement in regards to your fines at a later date.
I do have a question. What are we removing from the property again?
I'm sorry?
What is it to be removed?
Because it's
No,
an accessory use without,
what items? No, which items?
all of them.
What is all of them?
Everything that's currently in violation, that's already been identified by the code enforcement officer. You can get in touch with the officer directly. They'd be happy to meet you out there and go through what is or isn't there, but everything that was in the picture, the secondary, the accessory building, the storage pod, the trailers, all that stuff has to be removed off the property in order to be in compliance, so.
Yes, I understand, but the shed was there
Okay.
prior to the demolition.
All right, well, sir, the board has ruled on the contest and denied it, so you have the ability to contest that if you so choose. Otherwise, I'd stay in touch with the officer and make sure you get those things cleaned off in short order so that you can stop the fines and be in compliance. All right, gentlemen?
All right.
Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Next case, please.
Turn back to page 12, number 24, case number CE 22013782. The owner is Colin George Shemp, 4903 Shetland Avenue. We have service. Mr. Shemp is here, and there's also a party virtual online for this case. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your name and address.
Colin Shimp, 4715 Travertine Drive. Anything else?
What's the rest?
Okay.
City, state, zip.
Oh, Tampa, Florida, 33615.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to do
And-
the young lady that's online as well?
Yes, Ms. Yalman, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your name and address, please.
Teresa Yeoman, 8312 Stillbrook Ave, Tampa, Florida, 33615.
Thank you. Sir, do you recognize the property in the
Yes, I
photo
do.
there? Thank you.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning. Jose Reyes, Hillsborough County Code Officer. I inspected the property at 4903 Shetland Avenue, Tampa, on November 21st of 2022. It was an ADX generated complaint for violation of the Airbnb 7-day minimum requirement. It was cited for violation based on the screenshot that the complainant provided that showed she was able to book it for less than the 7 days. That's the first screenshot there. Second screenshot shows that Mr. Shimp has now adjusted the website to show 6-night, 7-day minimum. And what we're requesting is a remaining compliance order.
Okay. Sir, what would you like to add?
Well, I had some written up, so I guess I'll just say it.
You have 10 minutes.
Gotcha. It should be like 3. Good morning, everyone. Your Honor, I'm a young man with a passion for real estate and providing excellent services while trying to make a living, impact on society, and complete my goal of helping my mom retire in the next 2 years. It pains me to find myself here today at the county's expense as I hope to resolve any issues between me and my neighbor, Teresa, and I. From the brief conversations I've had with Teresa, I thought we got along well and were able to communicate. Unfortunately, all communication ended after some guests from Europe checked in at 1:30 and woke her up, which ironically was a 7-day rental. And to Teresa, I'm very sorry about that. I have tried to mend our relationship through long, thoughtful letters and communication through our mutual neighbor. Although she's not willing to talk to me directly, I still have tried to improve the situation with the sole intent of being a good neighbor, and I intend to continue to do my best addressing any issues she or anyone may have. For the time being, I have made the following changes. Changing quiet hours as reflected on my listen to 9 o'clock, which is much earlier than the county noise ordinance. Implementing noise aware that to let me know when guests are being too loud and let them know as well. adding house rules poster inside my house that clearly states the quiet hours and trash days as well. Meeting all groups and guests in person to make sure that they are aware of the quiet hours, eliminating the sound bar that was previously for my living room that some guests would take outside. Excuse me. Personally driving by my property every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at around 9:30 p.m. and randomly throughout the day and week to ensure that there's nothing out of the ordinary. Checking in with my direct neighbor bi-weekly to get any feedback and assurance that any noise has been acceptable. Spending $14,000 on a 6-foot waterfall that spans the back end width of my pool to drown out any noise that comes from my house. In addition to these changes, I've offered to hire a professional soundproof company to evaluate both of our houses and recommend the best solutions at my expense, which I would pay for, whatever result that may be. Although the offer still stands, she has not responded. I'm not going to stand here and say I've been perfect, as no one is. But as you can see, I'm doing my best to make things work, and I can guarantee my efforts have made substantial strides. Regardless, I'm confident that the overall noise levels from the house is actually much quieter than when I personally lived there, and that any noise that currently exists is within the normal range of a family with children who enjoys playing in the pool while residing in the house. In regards of the violation itself, I have gone ahead and changed my calendar settings on both Airbnb and Vrbo to reflect a 7-day minimum as soon as I became aware of the court hearing about a month ago, which Officer Reyes can attest to, and provided documents for. Going forward, if I have any questions about anything whatsoever, I'll be in contact with Officer Reyes and code enforcement to get clarity. And thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Only thing very well written. The only thing I would say is instead of for the time being, you meant to say effective immediately, right? In regards to all the things that you're doing.
Hold up. I think, yeah, that's probably what I meant. Yeah.
Probably what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Okay, Ms. Yeoman, what would you like to add?
I would like to add that it's not just myself. We do have a community webpage, which Colin's name and the noise are in reference to weekly that I have submitted. He is not doing the 7 days. We have all the neighbors have written down the days he is renting, and they are all under 7 days since February 23rd. He has not once rented for 7 days. I don't care what his calendar states. He blocks it out, and everybody knows it. And we all have keeping track of license plate numbers, when they come in, when they come out. Even in his listing and his reviews, the people are saying in the reviews that stay there, they're having 17, 18, 20 people loud on a Wednesday night at midnight, and the police are called. He is charging way too much, $800 a night. He is never going to get a 7-day rental. He's aware of that. And it's not going to stop until something's done. We live there. I live there. I bought my house for peace and quiet. Do the 7 days like you're supposed to do and obey the laws. We all live there. These people getting these Airbnbs don't live there. He can say everything he's done. He put in a waterfall. He did all that. Obey the rules, and you won't have the 1 and 2 day rentals that are there to party. You have 20 guys that are splitting $800 a night. It's partiers. It's not stopping. He's not obeying.
We appear to have lost your audio there, but I think I've got the gist. Officer Reyes, have you verified that the VRBO and Airbnb listings are currently showing for 6 nights, 7 days?
Well,
according to the picture that you showed earlier?
The third slide, that's what it showed. I mean, if they're leaving after 3 days and the website shows 6 nights, that's what we're here to enforce, that it's under the 7 days. So I don't know what type of contract they have with the renters.
Understand. Okay. And you understand, sir, the discussion in regards to remaining in compliance of what is being said. So obviously this shortens this time frame around if it comes back and it's recited.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Questions, comments from the board, or a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Ms. Clayton.
Okay. I move in case CE 013782, that based on the evidence presented, I find the property was in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as presented. Further, I find the property is now in compliance with this code provision in order that it remain in compliance with this code provision.
Okay, we have a reign in compliance motion from Ms. Clayton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosio. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
you.
sir. Remain in compliance, please. Send some more flowers and gifts to your neighbors. All righty. Thank you. Have a great
Have
day.
a great day.
Thank you, Ms. Yeoman. I appreciate the testimony. Next case, please.
Turn to page 2, number 2, case number CE 2201-2975. The owner is Payne Free Development LLC, 5216 Lake LeClaire Road. We have service and we have a party online virtually.
Okay.
Logan Payne, can you turn your camera on? Hello?
Mr. Payne, are you online? Did you step away from your computer? You have to unmute, sir. Okay, maybe he stepped away. How about we take the next case and we'll.
Okay, that would be the last
That's
one
the
with,
last one
with
on
an
that.
attendee.
Okay,
Would you like to?
maybe we can move to the, I'd like to keep moving so the,
Yes. You send Mr. Payne a text message. She's going to send a text message.
okay, fantastic. Ms. Franco, is that okay? Okay. You mind hanging around? Thank you, dear. Okay, let's move on to the cases without anyone present.
Okay.
And we will come back to that one. Try to reach out to Mr. Payne since he is still online. Thank you, Officer Conference. Appreciate it. Seeing that no one is present in the audience for the remaining cases on the agenda, the board will now review the case materials previously provided by county staff. And if the board finds that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation, the board's ruling in each case will be based on the evidence presented on the gravity of the violation, the action taken by the violator, and the violator's history in determining the amount of fine that will be assessed. First case, please.
Page 3, number 4, case number CE 2300-2623. The owner is Jeremy McLaughlin and Chelsea McLaughlin, 614 Beverly Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Good afternoon, Charles Harwell, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This property is zoned, you don't have the case up. Case is 2300-2623, as she stated. Case originated March 23rd of this month, actually.
Wow.
I mean, March 6th of this month, 2023.
Okay.
Been waiting too long. It's RSC 6, owner occupied, not in foreclosure, no life safety issues. The violations cited are inoperable vehicles, overgrowth, outside open storage, and accumulations. This is the 4th case in 2 years that we've had on this property, 5th case total. And it always seems to be the same violations. First case in July of 2000 was accumulations in garage door. Then we had 3 cases in 2021. In July, accumulations in overgrowth. In October, accumulations in outside open storage. And then in October of 2021, accumulations. So we had a year break, but here we go again, right? So bringing it to hearing, it just takes them a while to comply it for each case. So that's why we're here. I spoke to the owner. It was a combo notice, obviously, for the short notice. All the stuff is right there in the front yard. The neighbors are complaining, usually the neighbor 2 doors down. So, and they complain about other properties in the neighborhood. So they're not just being picked on, but it's the same stuff. It's right there in that same location to the left and right of the door. You can see it from the road. And they refuse to deal with it.
Have we?
Go ahead. The vehicle was bought for a 16-year-old son is what they said. So they're going to get a plate for that. But
Okay. And have we Have they been in violation before where we could cite them as a repeat violator? Or
They
have
have never been to
complied
a
before
hearing.
they
I
make it
can't
to-
believe 3 cases in a year
And
we
then
didn't bring them to
they
hearing.
Okay, all right. So we got to start someplace. Got it.
Question, what you've talked to the owner, what's the owner say?
Well, they wasn't happy. You know, they say they're
Well,
going to do
then
it.
nobody's happy.
Right. Yes, sir.
No, Mom.
I explain them.
Oh, okay.
You know, they have kids as well. It's the kids stuff. There's excuses, but you can see what it is. It's not kids' toys. I mean, there's a few bicycles, but we're not citing that. It's all the other stuff there.
What would you recommend? I'm gonna put the bird back on you.
Oh, yes, sir. I just give them 30 days. I mean, we got the truck to register. I don't know how long that would take. I don't think it'd take 30 days, but the truck will determine the length. The other stuff doesn't require much effort.
No. Okay.
All right, I grant 30 days, $250 a day.
So Priscilla has a motion for 30 days, 250 per day. Do I have a second?
Second, Durazio.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to skip back. It looks like
Turn back to
Payne
page,
is online.
page 2, number 2, case number CE 22012975. Payne Free Development LLC.
He was there. Oh, okay.
Raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name and address.
My name is Logan Payne. My address is 13711 Springer Lane, Tampa, Florida, 33625.
Are you the owner of Payne Free Development LLC?
I am.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Mr. Payne, I'm going to ask you, just because of the connection that we have and the speakers in the room, if you can try to get as close as you can to your microphone so my folks here in the boardroom can hear you. We seem to be just a little,
Yep.
I can hear you, but just to make sure everybody, that's much better. Thank you, sir.
Much better?
I appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Yep. Do you recognize the property in front of you on the picture?
Yeah, so this is a property that I purchased. We were.
That's okay. I just need to make sure I just want to make sure you recognize this, sir. I'm going to have the officer do the testifying and then we'll come right back to you, okay?
No problem.
All right. Ms. Franco?
Good morning, Board. This is case CE 220122975. I'm Officer Sarah Franco with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. The property in question is located at 5216 Lake LeClaire Road, Lutz, Florida 33558. The property is owned by Payne Free Development LLC. It's vacant parcel and not in foreclosure. The property was first inspected October 27th of last year and has had 7 site visits conducted. This has been the only active case for this parcel in the past 5 years. I originally identified 2 violations during my initial inspection. Over the course of my follow-up visits, 1 violation came into compliance, which was a fence. The remaining violation includes nuisance conditions, which is the dilapidated boat dock at the end of the property. I've been in consistent communication with Mr. Payne. He is building his home, and it will take permits to actually rebuild that boat dock, so.
Okay. All right. Well, communication is good. Mr. Payne, what would you like to add?
Yeah, we, thank you for that. Not really contesting anything. We bought the property, we split it. My brother and I are in the process of building our new homes there on the lake. We're super excited about it. The fence up front, the property was a mess. I don't think anything has happened there in like 40 years. I think that dock has been dilapidated like that for a very long time. So, we're in the process, like I said, of building our 2 first homes. The fence up front was a mess. We cleared all that out, got all the nasty trees out from underneath the electrical wires that runs there. But yes, we want to save the dock. So we're going to be, I'm almost into permitting. My brother is on the other side, the west side of the property. His permit has already been approved and we've started construction over there. And for my house, we will be submitting the permit hopefully early next week. And it probably should take us 2 to 3 months to get out of permitting. And then we're gonna fix up this dock and make it very nice, as well as build a nice home for my family.
Okay.
On the property.
Question for the officer, does having an active building permit on this site, either parcel remove the violation, or do they have to actually
Tear it down.
tear it down? Okay. Okay, so it appears that because of its condition, it needs to be removed. So how much time do you think you need to remove what's there?
Yeah, so what we're gonna, our plan for the dock is basically we're gonna take out everything other than the pilings. We've had it inspected already by our dock guy that's gonna do the job. The pilings are in good shape, so we're gonna keep the pilings, and then we won't do vertical. We're just gonna do just refurbish the base dock and keep that. But as far as the building, any of the vertical, that's gonna be all taken out. That's our plan.
Okay. And how much time do
Probably,
you need to complete that demo?
the permit, it's gonna probably take us, 2 months, I would say, best case scenario.
Okay,
But after that, believe me, we want that thing out of there as much as anybody else, so.
okay,
Good question.
please.
I have a question
Mr. Brazil.
for the inspector. They require a permit to,
That's what I said. I didn't know that either until he told me.
because this is not a regular structure. This is just a boat dock and, chainsaw, you can take that down real quick. And you
Mr.
need to
Payne,
pull
will
a
you like to
permit?
elaborate on that? Because I didn't know they needed a permit for a boat dock either until he told me.
I'm hard to believe.
Yeah, the guy I talked to, any of the waterways, I believe you need a permit if you're gonna be building a dock or extending a dock or refurbishing a dock in one of the waterways. Whether it's a lake, a river, I have a property on Hillsborough River, same type thing. So, we just didn't want to do anything that wasn't in compliance. So that's what we're working through right now.
Board,
And
David Kanzler, Hillsborough County. They require a permit from the EPC. It's, EPC's been delegated the authority to issue permits by the Port Authority. That's who's responsible for docks and seawalls and, but that's who they go through. They don't need one to take down the stuff. They would need one to rebuild the deck,
Yeah, I understand that.
the dock.
right, understand.
So a permit's
So we're coming back around to the same question, Mr. Payne. How much time do you think you need to remove what is a nuisance condition and could be an attraction to folks? I understand
Correct,
that you're
yeah,
keeping the
I would-
pilings and,
Yep. Yeah, we wanted to do everything all at once. So I would think, 2 or 3 months at the most. And then, as soon as the permit to build my house and the dock, refurbish the dock goes in, that's going to be the first, as soon as that permit comes out, that's going to be the first thing that we work on.
is there any way to secure the existing dilapidated structure that somebody can't get on it? Either removing some of the planks on the front or something to keep this from
Yeah,
being an attraction to young men and women?
Yeah, I don't think it's really accessible now, that unless they climb. I mean, I guess I could take out a little bit more of that front area there. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is. Like, I think this dock has been this way for like 30, 35 years. So I'm not sure why it wasn't corrected before I purchased the property, but I'm definitely going to get it corrected.
Can I just request a continuance for a couple months?
Sure, you can request it. I don't know what they'll
Can I request a
what they'll
continuance?
say, but we can have a discussion. And Mr.
I would like to
Mr.
request.
Payne, the code officer is asking for a continuance, which I'm sure you probably don't want to contest. Do you have any issue with coming back to us in a couple months and giving us an update, assuming that you're moving forward with it in an aggressive nature?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay. All right. Would somebody like to entertain?
What, rotation?
Yeah. Officer Franco's motion?
Clayton?
Ms. Clayton?
I move that we give a 30-day continuance. 60-day, I'm sorry. Yes, 60-day continuance.
Okay, we have a motion for a 60-day continuance from Ms. Clayton. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Payne, you're gonna come back and see us on Friday, May the 26th, and give us an update on that. You'll get some paperwork in the mail in regards to continuance, but just come back and tell us where you are in the process with that, and hopefully you've made some strides by then.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
All righty. Next case, please.
Page 3, number 5, case number CE 2201-2015. The owner is Gerald Morgan Sperling, 1702 Sloop Place. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning, Officer Brian Lance, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. 17 Sloop Place in Brandon, 33511. County received this complaint back on October 3rd of 2022. The property was originally cited by Officer Jones. Once discovered it was in foreclosure, it was transferred to me. We do have a prior case, 2100-7978, which there was a ruling on last year, May 20th. This is not a repeat violator because this time around we had additional violations. I've been in contact, in-person contact and phone contact with the property owner. He actually just texted me this morning and said everything's in compliance, but the violations that were outstanding on the 13th were accumulations, fences, and inoperable vehicles.
Did he say they were in compliance now?
The violator has stated they're in compliance.
Okay.
But as of the 13th, the 3 outstanding violations are.
But as of the 13th, they were still in play. Mr. Razio? Would you like to entertain a motion?
Yes. I grant 30 days to come into compliance or a fine of the compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $200 a day be assessed.
A motion for 30 days, $200 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Second by Ms. Clayton. For purposes of discussion, it appears the testimony of the violator has been that they're in compliance. So would you consider doing a short timeline to have the inspector go out and confirm that? That's okay.
Is in compliance?
That's what he said.
The violator is called this morning and said that they're in compliance.
Okay. Well,
So-
let's amend the 30 days to 7 days.
There you go.
Okay. So motion for 7 days, $250 per day? Or 200?
200.
7 days, $200 per day. Motion by Mr. Razio. Second?
Second, Clayton.
Seconded by Ms. Clayton. Again, thank you. Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7 days, $200 per day. Next case, please.
Page 4, number 6, CE 2300-1600, complied March 17, 2023. Page 5, number 8, CE 2201-2839, complied March 16th. Page 7, number 12, CE 2201-2671, complied March 17th. Number 13, CE 2201-2832, complied March 17th. Page 9, number 17, CE 2201-3685. The owner is Joandy Jimenez, 8014 North Cameron Avenue. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning. My name is Code Officer Hernandez, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This particular property was inspected, 11/16/2022. Let me start on my glasses. I'm sorry. The property itself is not in foreclosure, owner occupied. The main concern in this particular location overall are commercial vehicles. This property happens to be one of a few cases I've got in the area. Contact was made with the owners initially on the first phase of the inspections. I explained to them the reasons why they weren't allowed. Initially, there were 2. There's 1 left last time I looked. And it still remains.
Communication with the owner?
Yes, at the initial phases, I explained to them why commercial vehicles are allowed in residential zone districts. This property is RSC 6.
Oh, okay.
And still there.
Still there. Okay. Excellent. Ms. Clayton, would you have any comment or wish to make a motion?
Question. There's 2 things here, commercial vehicles and inoperable.
Yes, ma'am. The INOP was actually complied on the last time I inspected the property, so the INOP's not in question. The commercial vehicle still remains.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I grant 15 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 a day be assessed.
Motion for Ms. Clayton for 15 days, $250 per day. Do I have a second?
Second, Durazio.
Thank you, Mr. Razia. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 15 days. Next case, please.
Page 10, number 18, CE 2201-4165. The owner is the estate of Lucille F. Schoonmaker, 2917 West Clifton Street. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning, Code Officer Hernandez, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This particular property was inspected on 11/30/2022. The property itself, the owner passed on. It's currently vacant. We did initially, a couple of months back, had another case on it for the other conditions on the property. We're here today due to a tree. Tree has fallen. It's gotten a good portion of the front part of the house, the roof. And I made every effort possible to even check to see if there's any foreclosures. Right now, there's nothing filed. I reached out to see if I could seek any ownership, any prior, and basically nothing at the moment. It's the current condition.
So no contact with the owner at all?
The owner passed on. I reached out to, try to find some family members. I spoke to some neighbors, especially next door neighbor. One of the limbs fell on her side. She cleared it up. She reached out to what could have been a nephew. She told me he basically didn't want nothing to do with the house. You know, that's from the neighbor's side. And you can see the partial portion of the front roof, there's some damage along there.
So in this case, how does the county feel about, I mean, is it a secured structure or?
The property itself at the moment, I made
It's a
sure
pretty rough area, isn't
it's secured. You know, so as far as any kid going in, that's not an issue. It's got stuff going and it's running fines right now for the items initially that we came through. The tree part, as you can see, that's currently the way it is. I wouldn't be able to tell as far as what's inside. The front part, though, is some soffit and some structural damage along the front part of the roof.
I want to go back to the county and what's your feeling about it? Or, I mean, yeah, we can find somebody, but there's nobody to find.
But the thing is right now, it's in limbo when it comes to mortgage. Currently, it's not officially filed. I tracked down what should have been the mortgage company, which started off as Novat, then CompuLink, then HUD. I even reached out to HUD, spoke to a couple of people in there. And at the moment, there's nothing officially filed for foreclosure. You know, because from what I understood from the neighbor who used to talk to the owner before she passed on, she had a reverse mortgage going. And it's in limbo right now when it comes to that.
So, I mean, even if we find, you know, I mean, it's going to go against the estate, I guess, and then against the bank. Okay. All right. I grant 7 days, $250 a day.
We have a motion for Mr. Frizella for 7 days, $250 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Durazio.
Motion and seconded by Mr. Razio. All in favor? Opposed? None. 7 days.
Thank you.
Thank you. 250.
250. Number 19, CE 2201-2648. This case was pulled for lack of service and will be rescheduled. I'm sorry, did I go too fast?
No, you're good.
Page 11, number 20, CE 2201-3745 complied March 20th. Number 21, CE 2201-3910. The owner is Pacifica Hellenic LLC. Location 14417 Hellenic Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning. My name is Jose Pereira. I work for Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I conducted an inspection of the property located at 14417 Hellenic Drive, Tampa, Florida. 33613 on March 20th, 2023. This was a routine inspection. I actually conducted this routine inspection on November, and I believe I provided a photo of all the accumulation since November. And my last inspection was at the beginning of this week. And I made contact with the property manager, and she's aware of the whole situation, but nothing has been done.
Wow.
Goodness. Okay.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
That's not your turn.
It's me, I think.
It's what?
It's mine.
Oh,
Ms. Clayton, would you like to make a note?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
question first. We have the address is 14417, and it showed a different address on the first picture.
I put the address of where the accumulation is located, the building. The property address is 14417 Hellenic Drive.
Okay, and all those accumulations are that, for that?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
go ahead.
and then no response from anyone?
I spoke to the manager several times. I have numerous cases there. She's aware.
Okay. I'll grant 7 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $400 a day be assessed.
Motion for Ms. Clayton for 7 days, $400 per day. Do we have a second?
Second by Vizella.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
7 days. Thank you.
Page 12, number 22, CE 22013092. This case complied March 23rd. Number 23, CE 22013143. This case complied March 21st. Page 13, number 25, CE 22013854. This case complied March 20th. Number 26, CE 22014267, complied March 17th. Page 14, number 27, CE 22010371, complied March 17th. Number 28, CE 22010430, complied March 17th. Number 29, CE 22010432, complied March 17th. Page 15, number 30, CE 22010436. This case was pulled per staff. Number 31, CE 22010442, pulled per staff. Number 32, CE 22010478. This case was pulled per staff. Page 16, number 33, CE 22012745. The owner is West Florida Holdings, LLC, location 8602 North Habana Avenue. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning.
Good morning. Cynthia Gonzalez, Code Enforcement. This property is for overgrowth. My first initial visit was 10/20/22. The last visit was 3/17/2023. Violation still remains. No contact was made with the owner, no feedback. Here I am.
Wow. Crickets. Okay. Mr. Razio.
I grant $15 days to come into compliance or a fine of $300 per day be assessed.
Motion for Mr. Razio for 15 days, $300 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Thank you, Ms. Clayton. Motion and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 15 days.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That concludes the agenda.
All right, seeing no other additional business. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, folks, for being online and working with us today. We'll see you next month. This meeting is adjourned.